saying different things, and well, Yeet had spoke up and said to move up. I can condemn him on that, to think first, at least move us up closer to the main unit. We were kind of out in the open, so that's something I can say was pretty good. But
At their current
that's
state,
kind of
were they
left in the
fine
shadow.
and not like they are now?
Yeah, at that state, they seemed pretty cognitive. They were functioning. They seemed a little freaked out too, but I mean, everyone was. But they tried their best to get everyone in order, and they did. We pushed up to the main force, and that's when everything kind of slowly began to go on that downhill again. Civilians started popping out of nowhere in this other clearing that we moved up not too far, maybe 500 meters, 600. I don't think I described the landscape, but it was ruins. It seemed like copy and paste of buildings that were disheveled, lost to time, post-apocalyptic. The vegetation grew over everything. Humanity no longer resided there. However, it seemed like civilians were caught in, I guess, the mimetic effects of the anomaly, because they were. I interrogated some of them along with some other IOTA, and they said that they remember being in California, and well, being deployed in California, so that's very rare. So things kind of checked out for the most part. But some of them, they had this black ooze seeping out of them. I didn't get to see what happened before the ooze was, well, expelled. But I did see some on the floor who had that black ooze, and apparently it's flammable.
This black ooze, is it the same that is on the quarantined MTF members at the moment? Gotcha. Carry
Yes,
on.
most of our members were discharged, including myself. I had to change my gear. I was injected with such, but the antidotes that we had seemed to expel it from my system, so it's not in my system, but it's certainly in my gear, and I'd like to get that back at some point. But I digress again. We all were scrambling around, talking to the civilians, gathering them up because they were confused and feisty because they didn't know where they were just as much as we didn't. I, we had them on this big center area. Payne gave an order that made my stomach drop a little bit, but it's part of the job, and admittedly, I didn't listen. Uh, the order was that if they weren't useful and we didn't need them and they posed a problem, execute them. And so the order was carried out. I turned away, lowered my weapon.
How do you feel about the choice you made?
I I realistically don't feel it was good or bad. There were enough people there, but I had put my shoes in their I had put myself in their shoes, and being transported somewhere, first time in your life, seeing all these people with armed weaponry and swords and all this shit, I'd be fucking
Sorry,
terrified too, and being
one
gathered up and
second.
yeah,
Command
comms going
com's
off.
just blowing up here. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. I used to be a state trooper in New Jersey before joining the Foundation and being sent to domestic calls and stuff. You'd have to put yourself in other people's shoes to understand what they're going through.
Gotcha.
And I do this a lot, like with Zeta. When Zeta was brought back on site, and RO and fucking ISD was treating them like criminals, it sickened me.
Sorry, once again, it's blowing up.
Yeah, I can hear it. All's well.
There we go. Sorry, I've turned them down a little bit. Carry on.
Yeah. I They weren't armed, except for one that I believe fired upon us, but that one was handled quite swiftly. And realistically, we should have searched them, but I didn't want to come in contact in case that ooze was in all of them, in case they were all infected, which seemingly they were. And there were these other things, these people in hazmat suits. They seemed sentient. They had these vials, these syringes, these vials. They had this goo inside them, this substance. Um, oh God, I was unlucky to be injected with such shit. Um, I was injected. Everything felt fuzzy. I felt weak and cold, and I slowly felt drowsy as PK. The last thing I remember was PK holding me close to her chest, coddling me, attending my wound, wrapping my neck up, and then picking me up in a bridal carry. I didn't dream. I didn't feel anything. It was just dark. Death. Felt like dying, but I don't really know what dying really feels like. But I've come close.
Were you, say,
Jokes.
conscious during your death?
I didn't feel anything. I felt like I was asleep essentially.
Gotcha.
But
I'm assuming you've woken up.
when I came to, yeah, when I came to, I had this nice distasteful. Those antidotes. We need to put some food flavoring or something in them. They taste like shit. I had woken up in a cage, and I was next to Sergeant Major Jess and Operator Flick, and I think one other, but I didn't get a good eye on them. I had hoisted myself up with my sword. I had used my sword as a crutch, and I had wobbled around. I tried to get up, and I was weak still. Took me a little bit to recover. After that, I had gotten up, got out of the cage, and I remember looking around dazed before looking up to this lamp post and seeing the anomaly there laughing and mocking at us, or mocking us, and I was furious. I saw everyone in those cages injured, and Roomba and Lioness breaking down, and everything happening, the chaos. That surprised I didn't act on my own accord and stricken it,
Hmm.
but I guess I at least have some sense of common sense left from breaking down, which is weird. I don't understand it much, but it's a story for another time. It, I don't know what the fuck we were doing. It was up there, and we all just walked away from it. The main thing that brought us in, we just walked away. It's fucking stupid. I had followed, being unfit to do anything. Followed pain and the rest, and it walked up to us in the middle of where we had previously executed civilians. and Pain, Spider, and I forget who else. I think Sergeant Major Gears was there. I don't remember the fourth that was crowded around. I know Galadriel was there. We were crowded around, and Pain tried to bargain with it. It was like taunting us. This fun game we had here, and all this stupid shit. And a godsend came in. Fucking divine intervention. Spider ended up using a mimetic syringe on the anomaly, which I don't know if that worked or not, but it fell, hit the ground. It was caged. I remember laughing at it, mocking it, and the book was on the floor. Payne had picked up the book and opened it. There was a cutout in the pages and where a key resided. He picked up the key and everything started having that same effect again. Everything warbled, the ground shook, headache returned, and then we were on the floor. We woke up in the sewers again, right where we were when we fell to. And then Zeta had came in. And this is where hell broke loose again. Zeta had came in to extract us. I was pretty dazed, but trying to get myself up. I had helped Sergeant Major Gears up. I was able to identify it was obviously Zeta. It's kind of hard to not recognize them, but the only benefit of the doubt I will give Iota is that we just came out from something traumatic, so to say. But Nine Ball, Yoga Lad, and I believe Splatter that I had in view. Unacceptable behavior. One had opened